Hello everyone and welcome to Math 2412, which is Pre-Cal for Summer 1. My name's Terry Barnes and I'll be helping you on this fairly quick journey through the course. The purpose of this video is to really just show you what's involved in the course, look at it, talk about my expectations and where everything is. So let's go ahead and get started on that. The first thing I would say is to look here. Right here is where the announcements will be. And there'll at least be an announcement every weekend for the week coming up. And there could be some in between, so be sure and check there. Also check your email. You want to stay up with things that way. And then across here, I've got the things that you mainly need. And let's go through the course content over here. Right here we've got the instructor plan, and I'm not going to read all of it, but we are going to kind of go through it, and then you can read it on your own. So if we go through here, we'll talk about, here's my contact information. Now I am not on campus, but if you called my office phone and left a message, it would convert to an email and I would get that. Required text, no hard copy text required. When you paid for this, it was inclusive access, and that means it was included in your tuition payment. Do need a TI 83 or 84 graphing calculator. Now if you use something else like an Inspire and you're proficient in that, that's fine. I don't teach to that one. So when I do something on the calculator, it will be on a TI 83 or 84. So just a heads up on that. And if we move down, course attendance and participation. So it says if you miss 25% or more of assigned work for an online course, you will be withdrawn. And so keep that in mind, and we're going to talk about how I do attendance in a moment, but just keep that in mind. You for 25% missed work, you can be dropped. The course outline is here. There's no dates because everything is available day one and ultimately due at the end of the course. If you want to, you get to set your own pace on how you'll do this. But this does say we cover chapter 4 and 5, which is pretty much a review of college algebra. And then we have 6, 7, and 8, which is trig. We have a little bit of polar information. We have conics, and we have sequence series, and a little bit of limits, which we don't have a chapter test, but it is covered on the final. So that's just kind of an overview of that calendar. Grading, homework counts 30% of your total average. You can do your homework over and over again till you get it correct. You can take each question, you can try it 3 times before it counts it wrong, but you can always go back and get a different question. It'll just regenerate numbers. Test, 6 tests plus a comprehensive final. The test will count 50% of your average. Before each test is available, all the homework assignments for that chapter have to be done with at least a 70 on them. And if you don't do that in an online class, if you try to open the chapter 4 test and you've not passed all the homework, it just won't open for you. So it is a prerequisite for you to have passed all the homework. Final exam counts 20% of your final average. So there we go on that. And then there's the full MCC attendance policy. So that's really the highlights, and just go through that, read through that, and you've got the information there. Let's see what's next. There's some important student resources that you might look through. We're not going to go through those in this video. Calendar, this is just the suggested summer calendar. And so we have chapter 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Chapter 9, conics, and sequences and series. And so you can see, actually, this is June 2nd, not June 3rd, and then July 8th. That's a little off. I got to fix that. I will fix that. All right, so let's go to the next thing. All right, contact info is here. If you click on that, you get my office number, my office phone number, and my email. And if you need me, you're going to email me, or you can call and leave a message and it will convert to email. All right, next is calculator help. So if you're using an app, the Graphen Calc is an iPhone app. If you're using TI Inspire, there's some things to help you with it. There's some regression notes, just some different things. And then here is the calculator phone apps. So if you get that, if you don't own a calculator, you can get one for Android through the Google Play Store. You can get the iPhone App Store, any of those. And those are really good apps to use. And I know the Android one is free. I'm not sure about the iPhone because I don't use an iPhone. But neither of them are expensive if there is a charge for these iPhone ones. So that was just some calculator help that you could get. Now, the bulk of our course is right here: problems, lecture notes, videos. So before you start the homework here, I would say click on this tab, look at problem sets. We're going to go to Chapter 4 and look at 4.1. And it's a PDF that you can print. Find the intercepts of this equation, complete the sentence, lots of stuff. There are a few questions in this assignment. Not all of them are this long. This one actually has the answers attached to it, but there are 17 questions. And like I said, this is review of algebra, so it should not be something that you really have to learn the first time. This should be review. But anyway, you get this problem set, and maybe you can just start looking at it and you know how to do it, and that's awesome. But if not, we're going to go look at the lecture notes. So we're back here and we click on that tab again. Well, here's lecture notes. We're still going to go to Chapter 4, go to 4.1. If you were in class, these would be maybe the notes that would be going up on the screen, and except they're filled out for the most part. And you could go through here and look at the notes, and then eventually you get down to, okay, here's that problem set. And so find the intercepts, and this talks about how to do this, and you can use a calculator. Or come down here, there's just different, all this is written out for you, and you can see the answers, and there you go. So lecture notes that go with the problem sets. Let's go one more place. So we've looked at a problem set, we looked at the lecture notes that went with it. Now let's look at the videos. So on the videos, these are all in my YouTube channel, and each chapter or topic has a playlist. So if we go here to Chapter 4 playlist, and this is section 4.1, and 23 minutes, and there's 4.2, etc., all the way through 4.6, and you can just go there. If we went here, let's just check this out.
This is section 4.1, and this is about polynomials. In the first part of this, we get the math idea of what a function might look like.
And I had my volume turned down.
Now, like this. This is an example. And what we want to really understand is that the domain of all polynomials.
Okay, so I'm talking about that, and if we go far enough to get into the homework, so here we go.
Under y1. And I put 0 in for y2. Typically, if you don't know what your window has been and you want to be at a normal standard window, you can do zoom 6 which is a standard window. And so I get this, my solutions.
Okay, so you can see I'm going through those problem sets, the lecture notes, and I'm doing it in a video format that you can follow. So let's go back to the front screen. All right, so we have gone through all the problems, lecture notes, and videos for the first section. Let's say you've just started. Well, then you go to your homework, MML homework and tests. And first of all, you see, oh, everything's due July 8th at 10 a.m. These are clickable links. Here's the homework. Here's the exam. So let's look at 4.1. There's your 17 questions. That looks to be a lot like what we had in practice. If we went to number 1 on your homework, what is it going to say? It's going to be like that. Find the intercepts of the following equation. If you've gone through the problem set and looked at the lecture note and watched the video, you're going to know exactly what you are supposed to do here and choose your answer. Now, if you decide that this is your first answer, we'll go here. Notice that when I click in that box, I get these icons down here. So if you need a fraction, mixed number, exponent, square root, etc., or if I hit more, I've got even more icons, and those may come in handy. So they don't show up until you have clicked in the box. Now, if I just put some gibberish here and I do check answer, one or more answers is wrong, and it gives you a little hint. So I say, okay, I'm going to check it a second time, same thing. And my final check, correct answer was this, and my answer was this. So at this point, you could move on to the next question, or if you say, okay, I know what I'm doing here, so I'm going to hit similar question, and it just regenerated the problem. So anytime you finish, if you've gotten it wrong, you can regenerate a new one, or just skip it, go to the next question, and come back later. So that's how that will work. Now, say you're working on this, and let me move up just a little bit. So you've done this and you're still struggling, and you want to talk to me about it. The best way is to click down here where it says Get More Help, Ask My Instructor. It will come directly to me. It will be your question with your number, so I'll know exactly what you're trying to do. And inside here, you would type, hey, Ms. Barnes, I've tried blah, 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 and I'm still not getting it. Can you point me in the right direction? Or you may have something specific to ask. But if you do it this way, I get your specific question and not a general, hey, I don't know how to do blah. So this is a really good way to get help. And you just hit send and it would go to me. So I'm going to cancel out of that. All right, so let's go back to where the homework was listed. Okay, so that's what you'll do for the homeworks. Now, when you get down here to your exam, there's a flag that says, hey, you must score at least 70 on each of those homeworks. That's a reminder. Also over here, it tells you how much time you have. You have 2 hours. For Chapter 5, you have 2.5 hours. Same thing for the trig exam. Now for exam Chapter 9, you're back to 2 hours. Conics, 2 hours. And 12, 2 hours. And then the final exam is 2.5. Now note that you have 2 tries on each of the chapter tests. The higher of the 2 grades that you score will be the one that figures in your average. So first time is kind of like review. You're going through it, you think you got it, maybe you don't. You get your first results and go to the grade book and hit review. You can go through it and look at what you missed. Then you can go back and take the test again whenever you want to do that. You have 2 tries on all the chapter tests. You have 1 shot at the final, so you'll definitely want to study hard for the final. So that should be good on that. Let's go back to the front screen. All right, so if you want the textbook, you can hit e-text here and it'll take you in. I don't know that you need that. I mean, I give you the things that I think you need to know for me. I give you all that information, but if you want it, it is totally here. Handouts, let's look at those. There's some college algebra information. There's hyperbola notes, ellipse notes, parabola notes. Those will be really helpful for chapter 10. And there's some TI Inspire help. There is also, I started in the middle of that. There's a trig handout that is really important. There's a trig graph page that you could use. There's a little left-hand trick that you might want to look at. So there's quite a few things that might be helpful for you under handouts. Let's go back to home. And then final exam review is here. If we click on that, and it's saying review these homework assignments to narrow your focus. So that means in section 4.1, look at number 16 and all the way through. And then that'll help you get prepared for your final exam. That's really a way to help narrow. All right. So I think that's it. And I look forward to working with you. And don't hesitate to email if you need something. But it is, pre-cal's a lot of work to do in a summer session. You got to get busy. You got to stay busy. So good luck, and we'll work on this together.